Welcome to the Hardheaded Podcast,
where we are taking a practical and realistic approach to becoming better fathers. Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast, where Matt is being distracted by his electronic device in his hand. I am Chet Sears. With me, as always, is Troy Trussell and Matt Amos. We are taking a break from the norm and covering 23 qualities of a good father. This kind of started around Father's Day back in June, and we decided to go down a little bit of a different path and give some tips and characteristics, walk through those. And we've been covering 3 characteristics an episode for the last 7 episodes. And here we are, episode 8. We only have 2 because we're done with the list of 23 after today. We're going to be talking about understand the difference or the balance between helicoptering, hovering, whatever you want to call the smothering parenting of today's day and age. Understand the difference between that and keeping them safe. And then we're going to talk about limiting time on technology. We got all of these topics from an article on newmiddleclassdads.com. 23 Qualities of a Good Father, Traits and Characteristics, written by Jeff Campbell. So we'd like to thank Mr. Campbell for providing this content that we can walk through with some commentary. So
I think you could add a 24th.
Okay.
Tell them about Jesus.
Tell them about Jesus. We've threaded that through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Understand the balance of smothering / helicoptering over them and keeping them safe. Now, I'll go ahead and argue with this. The balance means that there should be smothering. And I'm just going to outright say, no, you shouldn't. There should be no smothering of your kids. No helicoptering. There should be some safety, but there's no balance there. Just don't be a helicopter parent. My goodness. I saw a thing on LinkedIn the other day from a recruiter talking about a double-digit percentage of the last candidates they interviewed brought their parents to their job interview.
Oh, my gosh.
Could you imagine asking your dad, hey, can you come to this interview with me and make sure I don't screw it up?
Oh, I don't even know what to say about that.
That's smothering. That's helicoptering.
I'm picturing it right now.
Yeah. The belt comes off.
No. So you got the kid sitting there, and they're in this tense situation, and then all of a sudden, Dad pops out.
I think you're thinking about Step Brothers.
Maybe I can help with this Pam thing.
Oh my God!
I could definitely taste ketchup.
That is. What's with the tuxedos?
Oh man.
But yeah,
They seem really messed up.
We are in a sad state. So last episode we talked about how quickly our kids are advancing around adult themes because of technology. But I think with that technology, we're going to talk about that here in just a second, our kids are not developing in a way that allows them to integrate into society well. And we're creating the need to smother our kids by not pushing our kids out at a younger age. Like that's where I am anyway. I could be wrong. But, we have here, I used this at work the other day too. Like, you got to let your kids fall. Like, your kids will never learn how to walk if you never let them fall down. Yeah. So you gotta let them fall, and those falls when they're learning how to walk. You create an environment. You get the sharp edged furniture out of the room. Hopefully, you're on a carpet or a rug and not the hard slick floor. That kind of stuff when they're teaching them how to walk. But you still have to let them fall, and so as you're parenting and they get older, they still need to fall in social situations. They need to fall in schooling. They need to fall and learn from that. Yeah. You can't hover and protect and helicopter a bubble boy life where there's no opportunity for mistake. Okay, I'll let you guys talk. I'm sorry. Got me fired up.
Well, I think it comes down at least partially to trust. So if you've given them all of the skills and you've given them your expectations, if you've taught them, let them practice, they're going to fall. It's going to happen. Be there to pick them up. Be like, hey,
Yeah.
let's, maybe next time juke instead of jive, and, maybe I'll have some success. But yeah, I agree. You've got to let them experience it on their own, but it starts with you setting those examples up front and expectations, and at least having a good roadmap. And if they deviate off of that map,
Yeah.
And fall, okay.
Yeah. And,
Mistakes happen.
You got to give them, you can't teach them everything, right? You can teach them how to handle awkwardness, but you can't create every awkward situation that they're ever going to experience, Anyway, that's where I am on that. Do you know any helicopter parents, Troy?
Yeah, I've known a few, but yeah, we don't parent that way.
Yeah,
you got to let them make. They're gonna make bad decisions, and then you got to be there to help them and steer them back the right way. But we always remind them, like, hey, you're gonna be at this friend's house. Y'all are gonna have fun. Y'all are gonna swim. You're gonna do, have some fun friend time. But just while you're there, remember the rules that we have at our house are still in play over there.
right.
And just let's make good decisions. Let's just try to make good decisions while we're over there. That kind of conversation.
Yeah, because there are consequences for those decisions. Good decision yield good consequences most of the time.
Right. Exactly.
Well, good. Anything else on that before we get to us harping on technology?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. There's a pretty strong statement right out of the gate here. Limit their time on technology. Steve Jobs, quoting from the article, may not have been a perfect father, but despite that fact, he is responsible for creating most of the technology that drives our society. I would say he's responsible for creating the third parent in your household through whatever device that your kids are on more than they spend with most of the parents that are out there right now.
Yep.
But even so, as the creator of a lot of these technologies, including the laptop that you're on, the phones that we're on, it says that he strictly limited his kids' time.
Dude, have you seen that documentary, The Social Dilemma?
Oh, it's incredible.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's been a while. But
everybody that's created these apps is like, yeah, we don't let our kids on them. Like, this is a disaster if you put your kids on them.
Yep. A bunch of them have already quit where they were working, and they're social free.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, I mean, you're constantly, even me, you're constantly targeted. Like ads or, what stuff that that your kids are talking about with their friends that their phone's picking up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that's in the searches. So it's just a constant cycle of, they want you to buy stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So like, your kid, talking about something and then, oh, here, buy this and it'll fix this, or buy this and it'll do this, and, whatever, but that affects your kids mentally, I'm not good enough, and if you're not there, speaking that positivity into their life more than the phone is speaking negatively, then I think you've got a bad outcome.
Oh, no doubt. And I mean, no kidding. There's all that bad stuff that's out there too. But I've caught wind of some of these fishing reels that show up, not like the reels, like the shorts.
Yeah.
Man, they're stupid. Like I would argue, I've spent a lot of time on the lake, done a lot of fishing in my life. There's a lot of people out there that are just peddling some bad fishing information. You know what I'm saying? And if you got people that are unqualified, you don't know how good of a fisherman this person is, and they're out there just telling you to do stupid stuff and trying to sell products, but it ain't gonna help you catch fish. What I mean, and that's just the funny, easy, happy-go-loving stuff. What about the more serious thing? What about a lot of these people that are out there? Oh, I'm a Christian, but let me tell you about this, and it's not an accurate biblical interpretation, right? It's you got to watch that content that's out there, no matter what your age is.
It's so easy to twist, you know. I mean, because it's so funny. The movie. Did you watch? So you watched Nefarious?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch it, Troy?
No.
Dude.
So it to me,
I know you and I mostly ignore 95% of anything Matt says about a movie because he does not have good taste in movies most of the time. But let me tell you,
I've got impeccable taste.
He recommended this one like 2 or 3 times before I was like, maybe I ought to consider watching it. Because normally Matt's like, oh, you need to watch this. Like, psh, I don't care about Matt's movie idea. But this one you need to go watch. And he deserves 100% of the credit. It's outstanding.
Super good. But it shows just like I think it was very eye-opening just how easy it is for evil to creep in.
Yeah.
The just the little things just here and there that, you know, that if you're not attuned to it, you know, and kids, they're not mature enough to pick up on a lot of that junk. You know, I mean, we can look at that and be like, oh, then this guy's full of it. You know, I'm not gonna continue to watch this anymore. So, you know, but to them, oh, it sounds good. So let's keep watching it. Oh, I like the way, you know, I don't like the way my dad told me, but I like the way that this guy tells me that the Bible says something, and it's that's completely wrong. Like that's not right. You know, and because we've constantly, and we've had that battle, you know, in my house over the gay stuff, you know, it's just like, hey, and it goes back to, hey, I love my kids. I don't have to love everything they do. Right. Like, you can love your friends, but you don't have to love everything they do, you know, and again, it's just that, but it's that technology and it's that constant, you know, Pride Month or this month, or we're going to do this. And it's okay to, you know, be whatever, you know, I want to like the Real Housewives type of thing.
I'll give you another example. We got a guy into duck hunting and he goes away after duck season. He's off at college. Come to find out, he's been doing a bunch of internet research and thinks it's good to buy a 20 gauge for duck hunting.
What?
Yes, I'm telling you, dude. You can find anything you want there on the internet. I'm sorry I'm taking away from the gay discussion, but like, dude, listen to the people that are in front of you. Like, not some random person on the internet that doesn't care if they called in a duck with all their decoys and you're shooting 20 gauge.
But just like you were saying, like anybody can create a fishing video and they may not know jack about fishing.
Look at us. We created a podcast.
We don't know anything. Yeah, but it's so easy to turn those opinions, which, you know, a lot of what we have here, with the exception, you know, when we quote scripture, is opinion, you know, so everybody's got their own, but it's so easy just to create that opinion, and whoever's opinion's more convincing, we may not be selling it well enough, you know, and whereas somebody else is selling it way better.
Well, you know, and I look at so I had an example about work that I'm not going to talk about, but put it this way. Russell Brand, today, a born-again believer, walking through one of the last videos I watched, he's talking about reading through Ephesians and gets into detail on how the Holy Spirit's speaking to him about these verses. And I could say, man, I'm getting a lot out of Russell Brand's content right now. And if somebody goes back a year, 2 years, 5 years, content's still out there, they could misinterpret what even I'm saying off of that.
Right.
So this technology has allowed us, like, if you know, if the old fashioned way, right, it's stories and books, right, is all you had. So I could say this book that Russell Brand just wrote is awesome and give you a book, or I could talk to you about it, and that's the current information. That's all you got. Well, now with this age of technology, you have access to so much more. And the conspiracy theorists that are out there on X, oh my gosh, it is next level stuff. And on just the randos out there have an opinion about everything, but their opinion they're stating as fact.
Right. And that's where the danger lies.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I tell my kids. I was like, look, this idiot, what's his background? You know, and it goes back to just limit the time, limit the amount of time they could spend on that crap, because it can definitely be detrimental. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like video games are big. We had to learn real quickly, like with Nintendo Switches, that's all our kids have right now. They don't have Xbox or anything yet, but Nintendo Switch, we had to turn off all chat. You know, I've got an app on my phone that controls how much time they can spend on each one and all that stuff. Recently learned that I have to, when they hand you the Switch and say, hey, put the code in for me so I can have like 10 more minutes or whatever, you got to go look and see exactly what you're putting the code in for, because I'm an idiot and I made the mistake of just putting in the code for my 7-year-old one day because I thought he was asking for a few more minutes. Well, he had gone to the store and picked out a game, and I spent like $37.
Dude.
But I didn't find out because I just put in the code and handed it back to him.
Yeah.
Because I trusted him.
Yeah.
And I found on my bank statement that month, like, who spent $37 at Nintendo?
You did.
Like, I had to have done that. Like, I'm a freaking idiot for not double checking because I was lazy that day.
And you know what? You're not as a good parent as your dad, because your dad never bought a Nintendo Switch game by you deceiving him.
That's right. He did take me to Toys R Us, let me buy him.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's different now.
Right, yeah.
The
totally
opportunity
different.
to pull one over on your parents is a little bit easier now.
A lot easier.
A lot more prevalent. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So, yeah, my 12-year-old the other day, my wife was livid. They were at Walmart, I think, and they were picking out posters for their room because they had that little poster bin. And he was like, oh, I want to get this Dragon Ball Z poster. And she's like, I don't know. It's got some creepy faces on it.
Yeah.
Like, let's just not put that in our room. And he had picked out another one with, like, I think LeBron and Bugs Bunny, Donkey, like Space Jam 2 or whatever.
I got problems with that too.
I do too, but better than the demon faces.
Not sure.
It's LeBron.
But anyway,
next thing you know, he's going to grow up, complaining to all the officials all the time. But go ahead.
Yeah.
He's going to walk through the house.
He's going to not dribble. He's not going to dribble on the court. He's just going to take 5
6 steps.
It's like LeBron bashing time.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm sorry. We're getting you off track.
Sorry. MJ is number one always.
So he got the Space Jam 2 poster.
No. He said he was going to. And through some shuffling around, they agreed on that one. And then through some shuffling and some deceiving, he put that one back and got the Dragon Ball Z one without his mom looking or knowing. And then got through the checkout and everything, got home, opened it up, put it up in his room. And she was like, what is that? That's the poster that I bought. Because he was buying it with his own money.
Yeah.
That's the one I wanted. That's the one I got. Oh, it doesn't work that way, son.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
It's not like if he had like a tree house, neighborhood tree house.
Yeah.
He can go there and put it up and your mom would never know.
Yeah.
His mom would never know.
No. He
put it in his room.
Hung it up in his room. Like, bam.
It's a bold move, Cotton.
Right.
Let's see how it works out for him.
Didn't even put it on I'd have put that on the back of my door. At least.
Yeah.
That's where I had my Cindy Crawford poster when I was a kid, on the back of the door. So come on, man.
If you're listening, don't use that. That's bad advice.
It is bad. But don't ever listen to anything Troy says.
Like, we're gonna go to Chuck E. Cheese. I gotta get some balloon holders. I get some balloon ones.
I wonder what they hold them with now.
Yeah.
They even give balloons away at Chuck E. Cheese anymore?
I don't know if I've ever. I used to go to Showbiz Pizza when I was a kid.
Showbiz.
I don't know if I've been in a Chuck E. Cheese.
I don't know that I've ever even taken my kids to Chuck E. Cheese.
Dave and Buster's is the new Chuck E. Cheese. It's Dave
I just drove by
Yeah.
Chuck E. Cheese the other day.
Yeah.
Chuck E. Cheese in Louisiana when I was a kid in Shreveport was legit. Had like these zip lines and stuff. Man, it was
really
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Had the big animatronic scary things on the stage
that
and
was
everything.
Showbiz. It was like
but
a
they
bear.
you could open it up and go under the stage, and they had like a strobe light in there. Surprised none of us had seizures, but
Yeah.
It was fun.
Maybe that's why you don't have seizures, is
because we were at an early age. Yeah. That's why you should
knows?
give all babies peanuts. I'm kidding. I don't know. This is not. This is not
medical advice.
Again, this
medical
is
advice,
opinions.
yeah.
This is not fact.
Right. Oh gosh.
We have gone off the rails. Technology should be limited. I think we can all agree on that. It's about finding the ways to limit and understanding that kids push boundaries. So whatever boundaries you think you have set, you need to double check, make sure that that's good. So parenting advice here, just to kind of give you guys how we've done it in the Sears household. And I don't necessarily think this is the best way, but one of the ways is that we have a multi-phone docking station in our bedroom, and our kids have to dock their phones in our room. So they can't have their phones without us around. I can't take them to bed with them and all that. As they get older, we start I think it's the Christmas of their senior year of high school. We do allow that because we don't want their first time alone with their phones when they're in college. So we start allowing that in the home a little bit, and we have some checks that are in place that we could monitor some of the stuff that they do with that. So I recommend that to maintain boundaries. There's certain time, like it's okay. And having a phone, I know your kids are going through this with not having one, but even when you have one, you're going to have times, you should have times where, your friends are still not going to be able to get a hold of you because you're not going to have it after 9:00.
Oh yeah.
That kind of stuff as well. So it's tough.
What is your age on platforms? Like getting an account on whatever app?
I don't know if it's a specific age, but more of a maturity level. And and then it's who you can friend and what you watch there. And to be honest with you, the more kids that you have, the younger ones get more sooner. And where we got with phones was more out of our convenience than our kids. Their ability to contact us when they're doing other activities and all that kind of stuff. And then when it gets to driving, you definitely want them to have access to be able to get a hold of you. But there a lot of the stuff where we get ours, the kids never want. Like I don't want to. We did have, so our kids were big on an app called Musical.ly. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No.
Have you heard of it? Yeah, it was purchased by TikTok. So we went, when it was Musical.ly, it was more wholesome. Like we monitored everything was fine. And then TikTok bought it, and then we started seeing some things we didn't like. And it was like, okay, that app's done. You can no longer have that. So and you're going to make a mistake. That's the other thing. You're not perfect.
Yeah.
Learn and adjust. But be intentional. Don't ever unleash technology. It needs to be on a leash with your kids.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Anything else there? Do we want to wrap up the series here? Maybe not. What'd you guys think? Did you enjoy going through this, Matt?
I did. I'm actually having kind of a dilemma, an internal thought process here that I'm trying to work through. So what if today, because I do the same thing, right? You can't have that app. I'm not, we're gonna do that app. What if that is the helicoptering for today's age? What if that is the space, like, where we teach them the right things that we want them to do? This is what you should do, and treat that app with respect. And then if they don't, then we take it away, right?
Yeah,
so this is like that. Just internally, this is what I'm thinking, right? Maybe this is the new, technology. Maybe this is the new outdoors. Like, I went out and I could have done anything. Like I was lighting fires and playing gasoline, like I shouldn't have done, right? But
yeah,
I was still doing those things that were obviously dangerous and not good for me. But it was part of me being out, and it wasn't until my mom caught me like lighting some stuff on fire. And then when I heard her coming, I put it out, but it was gasoline, so it relit. Otherwise I wouldn't have been caught, but then I got in trouble and I got grounded. Right. And I lost my privileges for a while. But what if this is that new area where obviously we're going to limit their time. We're going to, limit what they can have access to. But by saying no, are we on an app that's not inherently bad.
So that's the thing. I would say I get what you're saying, but and so I'm on Snapchat. Did you guys know this?
No,
Snapchat?
I don't even have Snapchat.
Right.
I know what it is, but
it was one of those things that our kids started getting interested in, and I got on there, and I'm like, holy crap. Like, you just sign in as a male, and then it's right. There's some stuff that you shouldn't be watching right in front of your face. Like, immediately. Like, whoa, that's the, and other apps aren't like that.
Right.
So I think yes and no. It just depends.
Well, I have to pin it, right? Apps
Yeah.
that aren't inherently bad. Like I think anything that takes a picture and it disappears and doesn't come back, because I think that's what unless somebody screenshots it on their side, which I don't.
But they know when you screenshot it. Like, there's all kinds of.
See, I don't know anything about that, but I could see how that could be bad.
Yeah.
Like inherently bad.
Right.
Meant for the wrong purposes.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other way to look at that other than built for the wrong purposes, disguised as something good.
Yeah.
Whereas like I don't think Facebook's inherently bad. I think you can get into some negative things on Facebook.
Just don't comment. Yeah.
Or Instagram or TikTok. But I don't think that those are all inherently bad, but I think the content that you can get logged into can be bad. But if you're not, I don't know. Just one of those internal thoughts. Maybe that's the new outdoors, and hey, the light's on. Time to turn that off. The porch light's on.
Yeah, but okay. I'm not gonna the outside stuff. Here's the going back to what we said maybe an episode or two ago. You're not developing socially, you're not developing physically, you're not exerting yourself, you're not all that outdoor stuff. Like I grew up with very few opportunities to have neighbors, right? Because as you know, I was way in the country,
right?
More in the country than you. But this
feels like a presidential debate.
A handful.
Do you carry your own golf clubs?
A handful of people. So I had to learn how to get along because I didn't want to be alone. I had to learn how to hang out with people that weren't really good friends.
Weren't really cool.
One of them had a 4-wheeler. So, hey.
Immediately, hey, bud.
And it turned out to be a pretty cool dude. But at the same time, we didn't hang out with each other at school. We didn't keep in touch after we left town. I mean, it was just like, oh, you're and I learned I have to do that at work, right? I have to get along with people and have good conversations, and it's
right.
not that,
but see,
you're not doing that on social media.
I understand that, but I'm thinking, moving into the future, I think that's where the future is heading.
I think
it's going to be more of a virtual office in the future because we've proven that working from home can be better. You're going to have everything that's going to be automated anyway. You know what I mean? So I'm just thinking
I would say that if you are able to develop one-on-one relationships with folks in meat space instead of cyberspace,
hey,
you're going to be ahead.
I would agree. I've told my kids, I go, you need to learn to communicate in person. I said, because if you can go in and interview well and you can be articulate and you can say what you're going to do and you can do what you say you're going to do. I said, you're going to be so far ahead of every other applicant that's out there. I said, you're just going to be leaps and bounds ahead of them. And, and I said, and if you can write well, that's going to be a huge help to you.
Yeah.
So I agree, but I'm just saying as devil's advocate, like,
I'll let you be the devil's advocate.
But
somebody's got to be wrong.
But looking out, like, I don't know. It's a curious landscape moving into a more, advanced future. Now, can you meet through Zoom? You know what I mean? So yeah. I think it could be for Zoom or something like that, where you're meeting with because it's all going to be corporate run, like by your company. And so
I don't own any companies.
The company that you work for, so just looking at that and being like,
the landscape is changing and we need to be flexible, but at the same time, your kid shouldn't be given over to 100% electronic interaction.
No, not at all. But I'm just saying that maybe that's the landscape that we should add some, because we didn't have that option as kids. So the only time that our parents could helicopter was when we were, if we wanted to go do something or wanted to be outside or whatever. And for the most part, it sounds like most of ours didn't. So now we have two landscapes that we're navigating. Hey, the virtual porch light is on. It's time to turn that off, go outside.
Yeah.
But in both spaces, are we helicoptering and how much should we helicopter in each space in order to protect them the most effective way possible? So that was the internal thought going to my head.
I appreciate the thought. I think it's something worth thinking about even more.
Yep.
That's where I think we have to be flexible and learn and adjust.
Be flexible. So anyway, do you want me to close this out with the scripture?
You should.
All right. It comes out of Isaiah 55, verses 8 and 9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. The Lord knows best.
Yeah, I think that's the ultimately what it comes down to guide us as parents, is that we should be calling on a higher power to help us, and we should be aligning our thoughts to his, because our ways are not inclined to be aligned to his.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for joining us.
Next week we'll be back with our regular schedule.
Maybe we need to talk about this.
All right.
I've been thinking about getting rid of the top 3.
What?
Yeah.
Leave a comment if we should.
Yeah, let us know what we should do. Should we continue with the because I think there's a lot more that we could cover.
Yeah.
Other than just these 23 traits on being dads, and fatherhood and raising kids and being a husband. I think that there's a lot more that we could add. Again, it's all opinion. None of it is fact. We don't know what we're talking about, but all of us have. We're all still married.
Speak for yourself, man.
So, we all have kids that aren't criminals yet.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me?
Just guessing.
Yeah.
Because
his are already mostly grown out of the house and aren't in legal trouble yet. Mine are getting that way and haven't had any legal trouble yet, but maybe.
Yeah, we're having some issues.
I mean, the poster deal.
Jeez.
That's pretty bold.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I wanted it.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
My money.
You're crazy.
Oh,
It's not your wall, son. It's not your wall you put
This is
that
my wall, boy.
that's right.
All right. You guys have a great week.
We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.